Hip hop zippity bop. It is time for Hotline League episode 62. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be here, everyone. This is the highlight of my week, and I know it's the highlight of yours, whether you're listening live or you're in your car on the podcast, or you've got the YouTube open, or you've got the transcripts flowing.
Hi, Grandpa.
It's just great. It's great to be here on this episode. I want to be, just giving a shout out. You might notice something cool about Mark's head. That's because he's got Alienware on it. And they are our sponsor for the show. We're going to be getting into that in just a minute, but just wanted to shout them out. We are joined this week by PowerofEvil, but before we get to him, I need to introduce my constant co-host, Mark Zimmerman. How's it going, Mark?
It's going great. I was the late one this time. This week's been okay. I ate a hot thing because FlyQuest won. Yeah, it's been an interesting week.
Yeah. Well, after an hour of getting audio engineers in Twitch chat to help me with my new microphone, I'm now being told that it's not good, even though everybody said it was great. So I don't know what to do, but hopefully that gets better over the course of the stream. We've got somebody just gifted 10 subs. Thank you, that weird dude 25. We got PowerofEvil on the show. PowerofEvil, how's it going?
Good.
We were joking about your right before the show started. Our last episode was called Is CLG and GGS Doomed? And now we've got you on the show this week after a very big weekend for you. You guys went 2-0. Did you expect that?
Honestly, no. We didn't do insanely well in scrims, but for sure I felt like we were improving a lot week to week. Even so, a lot of people said our TL game was really bad as well. I think we showed an immense improvement from Optic to TL. So I think we played really good this week and deserved both wins.
Nice. Well, that's not the only thing that has been keeping you busy. You were moving today.
Yeah, I was at an Airbnb the whole January. So now moving in to my permanent residency, and pretty happy about that too. So I don't have that in my mind or my back anymore.
Yeah,
that's nice.
That's nice.
When we did the episode last week titled "Are CLG Doomed?" did we defend CLG or not? Do you remember?
I think it was most. I think that the biggest call was there was a dude that called in and said CLG are going to get 10th place in spring split and maybe could get up to 8th in summer. And I don't think you defended them, Mark. I think you were like,
Are we sure about that?
I feel like you were like, I don't know, maybe.
If you check my power rankings, I have them 6.
That's
so
true.
I think
But you recanted your power rankings 100% at the end last week. You were like, these things are not going to be true. I think if you defended CLG, you were like, I think a Golden Guardians or something will get down there. Like you were not lifting CLG up. You were just shoving something down beneath them.
To be fair, Golden Guardians did go 0-4.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty good. Mark, as we always kind of jibber jabber at the start of the show, gotta say, really enjoyed the hot pepper segment.
Oh yeah,
that was great.
That was good.
Oh yeah, that was the funniest thing was a couple people replied to like different tweets and stuff about how like it was like bro culture and they was like mean that they forced us to do it. I was like, what the fuck? Like we wanted to do this. Like I was stoked that FlyQuest won that.
Yeah.
I thought that was the best segment we've done in years.
I thought it was great, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know why anybody would be saying it was over the top or weird or whatever, hazing culture. I mean, it seemed like you guys thought it was funny.
Yeah, people like a couple tweets were like, yeah, hazing culture or just bro culture stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's not like Dash got up and gave you both wedgies. It's like this is.
It's like they told us at the top of the day. We could have like objected out at any point.
Yeah, and I mean, I like that even Dash went in on it. How bad? Yeah, how long did it take for you?
Everyone in the control room ate it too. So like when we took our chip dips, they saw how much we had on, and they were all like, "Oh my god, they're doing way too much."
Yeah.
So like, it wasn't like we were the only ones forced to do it. Like everyone took a bite at least.
Yeah, that was what I will say. I saw that, and Dash went in even more on his. He was just like, "Oh, this is gonna be fine. I'll join you guys," and I was like, "Dear God, this is gonna be bad." How long did it take for that to get better?
Probably only like 5 or 10, probably 10 minutes.
Okay.
And I feel like the reason it was so bad was because like we didn't have anything to like wash the heat down with. It's like no milk, no water for a little bit, and then we were talking the whole time, so I think it like really stuck in my mouth. But then we didn't eat enough of a volume for it to like make my bout, like didn't make me shit myself or anything.
Right. PoE, kind of going back to the CLG side, and Mark, I don't know if you have any questions for him because we usually do a bit of an interview.
If you guys secure yourself something where like you're guaranteed locked in a spot, like no matter what you do, you're third, you know, something like that. Would you guys ever all eat really hot sauce and then play an LCS game? It's the last game of the season. You can't do anything to affect your position.
I don't see why not.
Damn, dude.
I'm
gonna hold you to that if you guys ever get close.
I don't know if he can commit on behalf of his entire team.
Yeah,
well, at least PoE will do it.
That's true.
Well, then we'll probably make him do that sometime before the start of a game anyway. He'll be like, this is to give you energy before or something. I don't know.
Like maybe Mario's getting like some superpowers through it, you know?
It's mental fortitude training. Like if you can play a game of League with your mouth on fire, what else?
Mental resilience.
Yeah.
No, the question I was going to ask though, PoE, is like after that first week where was the team just crushed? Because it felt like everyone, like the CLG subreddit and Reddit and all these people were just like, oh, CLG's dead. It's over for them. You know, I don't know how you guys were like internally.
I don't think we were really crushed. I don't think. Well, for sure, the Optic game was terrible. We lost against Optic Academy and we played really horrible. I think the whole game we were playing really scared. I would say it wasn't helping that we split a lot of scrim time as well and trying to figure out what's the best for the roster for us. Or I think getting stage games with multiple choices, multiple players. But I think from, as I said before, day 1 to day 2, we improved a lot. And since Irene had visa issues, we don't have a strategy coach for the whole duration of practice and scrims. So as soon as he came, I think we showed way more improvement over the reviews and just over weeks.
Yeah. The other thing that I have heard people say, I don't know what Mark's doing. The other thing that I've heard people say is that they feel as though in week 2, your wins were more based off of winning draft than necessarily like outskilling anyone or whatever. I don't know if you said this, Mark, but this was something that I heard multiple people say. Do you think that there's any element of that?
Well, definitely I would say first game against Flackers, we had the better late game and the better draft. Like, but how would you say like better draft? Since they had 2 winning lanes, and I can't remember how the jungle matchup was, but they ended up getting an Ocean Dragon mid at like 6 or something. So that makes like every lane even harder. They had like Draven bot lane, so they're like insanely strong lanes, and I think they even got like a 5-6k gold lead. So that was just a classic early game comp against late game comp. And if the early game team can't close it out, I feel like the late game team did a pretty good job at either stalling the game and defending. Obviously, at the same time, the early game team probably didn't snowball good enough either. And second game, I'm pretty sure the Zillion last pick kind of screwed them over, since I think it was really rounding out both, like the team comp of us really good and screwing kind of their goal of the team composition. So yeah, I think both games we had pretty good drafts, but I would say like not insanely outdrafted. I think we played pretty good too. Like, would be I think not honest if we would say like, yeah, we just outdrafted them. We didn't play better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I thought a similar thing about game 1, where like you outdrafted them in the sense where like if they couldn't close, you win. And then they couldn't, and then it was just like, okay, you guys have a much better late game comp. But the other game, I didn't think it was that much about draft.
Yeah, I think second game, I think I played like horrible early game, lost flash, but then we had this really, really good fight at red buff, and I feel like as soon as Sion
gets like that fed versus Victor,
it's like Sion gets fed against Victor, so he will always get the priority. He will not die anymore, and at the same time we have like the Zillion combo, which is really, really strong. And I feel like at this point we couldn't lose the 2v2 mid lane anymore, even so Aatrox had a good lead on me before that. It was just like, at this point I just push him in. We have top lane winning, mid lane winning, mid jungle duo winning, and we can just, I think, play the game however we want, and it's on us to lose the game after that point.
So, I think as we get into calls in a second, Mark, you and I usually discuss what the big topics are this week. I know Jat leaving is a big one. I don't know if anybody wants to call in about that. I don't even really know too much of what there is to say, but that's obviously a big thing that got announced. I think there's big questions around. I mean, obviously people should call in, and we don't tend to do too many, like usually we're looking for hot takes, but obviously if people have questions for PoE about CLG or his history or whatever, that'd be great too. I think a lot of conversation to be have around Golden Guardians and 100T. Thankfully, I feel like CLG, they got the 2-0, so they ducked out of the conversation, and now 100T is down there too, because I think a lot of people are pretty down on the state of 100T. And I don't know, what else, Mark? Am I forgetting anything else?
I mean, just for other CLG topics, like what's it like with their new coaching staff? Because I don't think many people know much about Irene. I don't know. Which one is it? Is it Irene or Arian?
Irene.
Yeah, because So I don't think there's that much known about that. People always like talking about Weldon stuff. So I think there's a lot of stuff CLG related that you can talk about that's not just like, I thought CLG was going to suck, and then they had a good weekend.
Yeah.
Mark, oh, never mind, you're good. Oh, wait, I can't tell. Yeah, you're good. What is, I think that's it. Mark, do you want to throw out sort of how the show works?
Yeah, so if this is your first time watching Hotline League, the way this show works, it's a live call-in show. So in Discord, Twitch chat, I am spamming the link to Discord. What you want to do to get on the show is click on that, join up at our Discord, and then when you get here, join pleb calls or pleb calls to voice channels. You can mute your mic once you're in there. And then in the pleb topics text channel, you're going to go ahead and post whatever it is you want to talk about. We like when people have their own opinions. They think CLG, after week one with all the roster swaps, if they solidify, they're going to be top 4 for sure. And then, we can pull you on for that because we do have PowerofEvil on from CLG. Of course, any questions about them and or their practice, whatever it is, we'll definitely be taking a lot of CLG ones today. So anyways, what you do is you post whatever it is you want in the pleb topics channel, and then we will pull you, if we like your take, into the waiting room. And then you'll hang out there until it's your turn. I'll pop into the waiting room. I'll do a quick mic check with you to make sure everything's working. And then we'll get you on air so you can ask the question to PoE himself.
And if anybody wants to call in and tell Mark that he acted inappropriately by eating that hot sauce on stream, or that it was a terrible way and it diminished. We had somebody call in last week.
It wasn't professional.
Yeah, somebody called in and said that Stinky's cosplay wasn't professional, so I'm happy to hear how the hot sauce wasn't professional. I think we can discuss that as well. Oh, and I need to change my stream title. I think that's it. Oh, the other thing is that if you are interested in being a sub, you can get into the subtopics chat on Discord. Moves a little slower there, so it does give you a little bit of an edge over some of the what we like to call plebs, and you just cool kind of benefit of being a sub. So you can go ahead and check that out. I think Mark is probably pulling people.
Yeah, I can start with the first one if you want.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
I'm just updating the stream title. Should be good. I see all these subs coming in, by the way. Thank you so much, folks, who are doing that. We'll be sure to get to you.
Everyone's getting a mic.
Yeah, that's everyone's getting a mic. You got gifted a sub. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh no, but I'm not logged in here right now. But okay. Otherwise, I would spam your chat.
Okay, well, don't do that. Xantos is here. Xantos, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Minnesota.
Minnesota. Is it still cold there?
A little bit. It's close to 0. I don't know the exact temperature, but
yeah,
it's t-shirt weather now.
Yeah, it's close. It's close to 50 here tonight, I think. So it's 55 right now. So we're also suffering with you here in California. What do you want? And PowerofEvil right now is just confused as fuck as to what any of these things mean, because
we all use Fahrenheit. I don't know
Fahrenheit at all.
No. I know around about it, like 65 is pretty good because it's pretty warm. 55 is okay, good too. But I don't know exactly the numbers,
55 is not good. I mean, I'm sure coming from Germany, you think it's great, but yeah.
Yeah, that's what's weird is it's not just like, does he understand the conversion, but like, does he understand what's good for LA?
Yeah.
So conversion of what it would be, it's about -14 Celsius.
Cool.
Yeah. So, Xantos, what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So I was actually going to talk about CLG. I actually don't think they're as bad as the community has been saying they are. They've had one of the most difficult starting schedules out of any team. I don't have any like stats that pull it all up completely, but I did go through and do a bunch of research on the teams, and I went through all the schedules and actually did a 3-tier test where I rank all the teams in 3 different ways, figured out the averages, and CLG actually had the most difficult schedule based on that in the first 2 weeks.
This is always how it goes when we have a pro player on. Somebody calls in and it's like, I think their team is amazing, or the pro player is amazing. Big fan. And I'm just always like, well, how's this discussion going to go?
Well, that's a little bit,
Jarvis, don't be jealous, man.
that's a little bit different.
Plus, he wasn't even like CLG is the greatest team ever. He just said they're not as bad as the community thinks. Like that's not that strong.
Coming in here sucking up to the pro
Jarvis
player.
only wants flame. I get it.
Yeah.
Well, that's CLG sucks. All right.
And to be fair, I'm actually an old school TSM fan since like when Rain Man was kicked. I've actually never been a CLG fan. I just don't think they're as bad as people think they are.
Okay, good. Glad you established that you don't love them. All right, so I don't know. So PoE, is this true? Is CLG better than it seems, and you're just stuck in LCS hell?
Well, I would agree that our schedule with facing Cloud9 and TL in the first weeks was pretty hard or pretty rough. Like I don't think people can deny that this is a hard schedule for the first weeks, but I prefer to face like TL in the first week where we are pretty bad, since I think we wouldn't have beat them in the second week either. So it's better to face them early and then keep improving and face them later in the split again and like be ready for them, you know.
Yeah. So when I interviewed Stixay this past week, and the interview's not out yet, but it will be. Shout out to the Stixay interview. He said that he thought that the first week you guys were undoubtedly the worst team.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like we just didn't do anything. We didn't play the map right. We didn't do the vision right. That game was just. I think we had the counter pick mid lane. I think we would easily win 2v2 mid, but we just didn't take a single fight, and we just let them complete control over the whole game, and it was definitely just a horrific performance. But at the same time, it was really good for learning and for just like checking the review, checking the VOD, and saying what is missing out, what is really important for the future games, and what people can not do anymore.
Yeah.
How much of like those week 1 struggles would you put on like the rotating roster stuff? Because I know that's something that a lot of the community has been asking. Is like this week was the week where you played what people were kind of anticipating your starting roster being, and so it's a little like how much of the week 1 losses were on the roster versus like just the team not being as good at that point or tough opponents, whatever else.
I think the problem was that scrims, we lost a bunch of scrims, and it was really hard to tell which roster or which jungle top lane duo is better, since scrims is like one thing and then stage is like another thing. So we felt like we needed to try out both duos in LCS to see which one can perform better or has maybe more potential. Maybe we're gonna change that up later in the split again, depending on how it evolves, but I think we realized that Darshan and Ray was the better choice. We had more success with it on stage. I think that is because Darshan has a lot of experience, so he has a really strong voice in the game. He's really good with up the meta picks right now, and can lead the team in a good manner.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, it does feel like you guys were entirely different teams between week 1 and week 2. Stixay also said he thought that a lot of it just came down to Irene coming in, and that Irene, like after the first week, was able to just learn a ton, and then that also helped you guys, which I know we kind of moved away from the discussion around it potentially being very draft focused as part of the reason you won, but I assume that, you know, even if that did help you, it was a lot of it just him being able to get in and be good with the team.
Yeah, he's bringing a lot of like strategic insight and helping, especially with like vision around mid lane, because we were really horrible at like setting up vision around mid lane, knowing when to fight it, when to engage, like picking the right fights. So I don't think we're still perfect at that. Like we still have a lot to improve on, a lot to learn. And funny thing, after we won against FlyQuest, and I think we only dropped 1 kill, like came back into our room, and Irene's just like, guys, I'm disappointed in you guys. Like that's the first thing he says, you know? Like he just like
First win of the season.
He just drops it, you know? We get our win. Everyone's happy, he just drops the mic, you know? But afterwards obviously says like congrats that we won, and we still have a lot to improve on. And so yeah.
Why was he disappointed?
Because we did like really bad Baron setups. Like I think we started the Baron that game like 4 times, and I don't know, just didn't play the macro right, and just kind of stalled the game as long as we won, like till we won, instead of actually stalling the game and making right plays, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Well, any other thoughts? It sounds like we're kind of mixed. So Xantos, I think the general assumption here is that CLG was potentially the worst team in the league week 1, but maybe much better week 2. So maybe a little bit of a in between on your thoughts. Any final things?
Yeah, it was actually week 1. It did look really bad, and it wasn't. I mean, losing the TL was a little bit expected. Optic, you would expect to be closer. Week 2 actually surprised me more because, well, yeah, you were behind against FlyQuest. You still beat C9, who is predicted to be 2nd or 3rd place team by the end of the split, and that's actually above expectations. So I might be thinking CLG is a little bit higher place than a lot of people originally thought they would have been.
Yeah. Well,
but other than that, I don't have anything.
Oh, good. Well, do you have any? I think we'll see how CLG looks over the course of the split. But any final thoughts before you say goodbye, or any shoutouts?
Well, I want to thank you for letting me on, first time caller. But thanks, and have a great day.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks, Santos, and try to stay warm.
Will do.
Yeah. All right, moving on to the next caller. I want to give some shout outs to some people who subbed. Thank you to Elixi or Livy's XO, Rimo Plays, M. Chris, Gigo, Habs 2099, Perfectly Adequate J for 14 months, Voter Michael for 9 months, Archaic Koala, Nanook 111, Randomness 911, and we've got Bookie. Okay, how do you say it?
Boy, I kill you now. It's 4 syllables.
Boy, I kill you now.
Yes, you got it right.
Where are you calling from?
Long Island, New York.
Do you mind if I just call you Boy?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
You could do
Boy, Long Island,
yes,
New York.
It's fine.
And continuing our weather discussion, how is it going in Long Island, New York?
It's in the 30s, but my boiler was leaking, so I have no heat right now.
Oh,
so it's very cold.
Jesus.
Very cold in my.
Yeah.
It's very
You're probably
cold.
running the computer just to try to heat up the room.
Yeah, my keyboard's pretty cold right now.
Jeez. All right. Well, I'm sorry. Well, it's a good
It's
thing
okay.
you're on Hotline League. It's going to keep you warm tonight.
It is.
Because it's Hotline. That's hot. Anyway, what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
I wanted to talk about how I think Golden Guardians is going to finish 10th in spring and summer, and they'll be the first team in LCS or NALCS, however you want to put it, to have 4 10 to 10th finishes. I don't think that's ever been done before. I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that's never been done before.
No, usually they get relegated, I think.
I don't even think there's been 3.
I think like, the worst that you could ever compare that to is like the Shanghai Dragons in Overwatch, where they did not win a single series. I don't watch too much Overwatch, but I don't think they ever won a single series. So I think this might even be worse if they have 4 10th place finishes.
Well, they definitely had a better year last year, even though they got 10th both splits. I think there are some teams
They were like top 5 in summer for a bit, and then they just kind of.
I think they were first place.
I think they're like
for
first
a
place
week.
actually. Yeah,
yeah.
They're like first place for sure.
Yeah, they had high highs and then a very low at the end. That's what I was gonna say though. Is like I don't think there are like velocity level teams where they'd win like 1 or 2 or 3 games throughout the split.
It was like what Team Dragonites I think had like an 0-6 or like Team Coast. It was like 0-16.
Something like that. Mark, do you remember? Did anybody ever go?
Team Coast was 117. If I
they were 1. I don't think anyone's gone completely defeated.
Yeah.
I think everyone's picked up 1 win.
But regardless,
I think the worst. Yeah, whatever.
How embarrassing will it be for them if they get last place in all these splits? So why do you think that they're going to get last place this one and next?
Well, when you look at their first week, I know it's the second week else, but we look at their first week, they arguably had the easiest week of any LCS team. I mean, maybe you could argue, but I think with the expectations coming in, Golden Guardians was expected to be a playoff team, maybe fifth, maybe sixth. Perhaps they could get third or fourth as like the ceiling. But after you look at their first week, a lot of fans were worried. And then you're like, okay, it's the first week, maybe they can bounce back. And then you look at the second week, and I think there's a lot of cause for concern. The game versus C9, I think just it didn't even look close. And then the game against the Hundred Thieves actually threw the game, and Golden Guardians had a chance to win, except they horribly misplayed the Baron fight, and Someday was able to steal the Baron. And I think that after the first 4 games, you have to who is Golden Guardians going to win against? They have not faced they have faced C9, but they haven't faced TSM. They haven't faced did they face CLG yet? I don't think
No,
they
they
faced
didn't.
CLG.
No, they didn't face us yet.
They didn't face CLG, TSM, TL. So I don't know the exact schedule, but I know in the first round robin they have yet to play TSM, CLG, and TL. So you're probably expecting to go 0-3 there. So maybe you finish the first round robin. And did they face FlyQuest yet? I don't believe so, right? They did not face
Let's look at their
FlyQuest.
schedule. Sorry.
I don't think
The
they faced
first week
FlyQuest.
they faced
Fox and
100
Optic.
Thieves, and they faced Cloud9.
Where they faced week one
That was last week.
Optic.
Sorry, that was last week. So, and week one was FlyQuest. They did face FlyQuest. That was their first day.
Okay, so
And then they
so
faced
they have
Echo
to
Fox.
face they have to face CLG, Optic, TL, TSM, and CLG. And I think if you're looking at that, who are the Golden Guardians realistically going to beat? If you're just going off base the first 2 weeks, you're probably predicting Golden Guardians to go 0-9 in the first split. And then even if they can turn around in the second half of the split, they're probably not going to beat TL. They're probably not going to beat TSM. They're probably not going to be C9, even if they do improve during the second split. So you just factor in those 3 losses. Golden Guardians is already 0-12. At that point, you have no chance of making playoffs, and you're probably fighting to just not be 10th. And I don't even know who you would put below them. I don't see Fox already beat them. Optic, yes. Optic's not even playing their full starting roster, but I think you'd probably take Optic over Golden Guardians. And then going into summer, they don't really what roster changes they're going to make. I don't know. They usually can't make big star signings in the middle of the season. I think the only big person that is going to be around is actually Forgiven, who's coming back from military. So maybe they can bring up someone from the Academy League, but I don't think anyone in the Academy League is going to be better than what they have right now.
Yeah.
So Mark, let's just pretend PoE is not here right now. All right.
Why?
Let's just pretend he's not here, because I've had this conversation with 2 people now where there was a discussion around what Golden Guardians could have done in the off season and what they would have done differently. And multiple people have been like, man, oh, you lost your webcam.
He's gone now.
Did the battery die?
Probably battery dead.
Great.
Do you
Let's
need me to get
imagine
another
Mark
one?
is not here, guys.
Can you, are you able to?
Well, I didn't want to stop your monologue.
Okay. So we'll pretend you're still here.
Yeah.
So the thing that I've heard, or that people have said, is that if Golden Guardians had picked up PoE, they would be in a way better place right now, because he would just be able to put enough pressure onto the map, and he'd be much better fit for that team and all that stuff. So I'm kind of curious what you think of that. We'll just pretend he's not here right now.
Yeah, I think PoE would have been a really good signing. You look at Froggen. Froggen has not looked comfortable on a lot of the meta mids. His Lissandra game versus 100 Thieves was suspect. His LeBlanc game, I think that was versus C9. It did look good, but it wasn't the performance you would expect of Froggen, especially if you look back at his previous years. And I think that him taking a year off and spending all that time in solo queue, he just wasn't practiced enough on the meta picks. And even though he says, yes, I can play them, I have faith, but I just don't think Froggen is up to par right now. And I think that it was probably the worst signing on Golden Guardians. Second worst, I would argue that Ole is just gone so far. And I think Ole might actually be the worst support in the league. That Soraka play was just I don't even know. I
Mar-
felt like I was watching Academy.
Okay,
It was
hang on.
so bad.
Mark, what are your thoughts?
Okay, my thoughts are, I mean, I've always been a bit of a. We talked about it a lot yesterday. Like I'm a bit of a Froggen hater. So if you're asking if I think PoE is better, then yes, I think PoE is really good. We talked about how he almost carried Optic playoffs. It felt like mostly by himself last year. So I think Golden Guardians has more talent on it than that Optic roster did. So they should be able to. Now,
Yeah,
I also
definitely agree.
I think the Optic roster probably had a lot easier personalities to work with. Like Dokla seems like a really cool guy. Big seems awesome. Arrow's super goofy. So like I don't know if you know it's not like a 1-to-1 translation, but like I think Golden Guardians would be much better if they picked up PoE.
All right.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Power of Evil. What do you think of all of this? Not you. I don't need to know about if you'd be on Golden Guardians. That's weird. But if
PowerofEvil, is there any team that you wouldn't instantly make better?
PoE, he's like, yeah, SKT. The question for you is, I keep interviewing all these players, and I ask them, you know, sometimes during the interview, sometimes later on, you know, what's the deal with Golden Guardians? And everybody seems to think that they are better than they are showing on stage. And this is the case that Anero made to me in the interview that got posted today, youtube.com/TravisGafford, that you know, the team is better than what they're showing on stage. So I don't know if you've had a chance to scrim them or what you think, but I'm curious.
Well, so we didn't scrim them lately. We scrimmed them like a few weeks or like a month or 2 months ago. And they played pretty good back then. Won most of the scrims against us. I'm normally someone who doesn't do like these bold statements. And I'm like, yeah, like they're gonna be end up 10th place, because I think throughout my career, most of the seasons that I started with, like all the teams I was on, always started like really bad, or like with like mostly losses at the start of the season, and then we slowly picked it up, and I normally ended up coming into playoffs 6th or 5th place, and I still managed to get to finals like 3 times, and to third place match like 2 times. So it's like, I don't think people should judge too much on like early week performances. I feel like what's way more important than, of course, like every win is important, but in my opinion, what's more important is like how fast do you improve from day to day, from week to week, because if you lose scrims all the time, if you lose LCS stage, you won't even get good scrims anymore. Like people will stop scrimming you. Maybe people like players' attitude is gonna go mental boom, where people just like don't want to play together anymore, or the synergy just doesn't click, and you just don't enjoy playing as much together. You maybe play less solo Q2. So I feel like a lot is on each of the Golden Guardians players to pick it up now, since I believe every one of them needs to give 120% now, play solo queue all day, try to scrim as good as they can every day, 100% focused, and kind of try to get maybe some team bonding in as well, because as most people will doubt them even more now, and the community perception will be even worse for them now, they need to like trust each other even more. And I think that's sometimes really hard, and I already experienced teams where it was not possible, or where people didn't fix this or didn't give 120%, and then a lot of times it's like really doomed.
Yeah.
I think the other thing too is, even if like, I don't know if I agree about 10th place, I do think they're in a lot of trouble from like a playoff race perspective, which sounds really crazy to say early on, but only 2 teams have ever gone 0-4 and made playoffs in the history of the LCS. So it is.
Oh, really?
It's a pretty bad spot to be
You
in.
know who the teams are? I'm curious.
2013 Vulcan. 2016. I forget if it was CLG or C9 or something.
Wait, so the 0-4 start, and then like only 2 teams made it back to playoffs, or what?
Yeah.
Damn, okay, I didn't even know that. That's
Soon to be 3. Let's go Gold Guardians.
Here we go, baby.
Yeah.
Okay, damn, okay, that's actually concerning. I didn't actually know that fact.
Yeah, it's.
I would have guessed it's like actually like way more teams, but
you
2
would
is
think.
pretty scary.
I don't think it's like. I think what always happens is it's not like because they're 0-4, like that extra loss from 0-3 to 0-4, or like 1-3 is so damning. But usually, like if you've played 4 teams and you haven't picked up a win yet, like you said, mental start booming,
Yeah.
and like all these other things start going wrong. That like curtails it down so fast.
By the
Yeah, I
way,
agree.
okay, I always try to preface this. I like Froggen. I like him a lot as a person. I know in a second everyone's going to raise their pitchforks at me. I heard an interesting stat today, which I guess I would need to get verified. But Mark, I don't know if you've heard this float around back.
I have. I already know where you're going, but go for it.
Something about, what is it, 20? He's only won 20% of his LCS games? Or is it 20%
He's the
win
lowest.
rate?
He's the lowest win rate player in the history of the LCS.
Really? Wait, how many games did he win and how many did he lose?
Supposedly,
you
it's
know
something where it's like 20 or 25% or something is his win rate. So he's losing 1 in 4 or 1 in 5, or he's winning 1 in 4 or 1 in 5 games. Oh,
Wow,
and
that's-
that weird dude 25 just gifted a sub to Golden Guardians. On that note, thanks for the sub.
I think that I hope the stats team doesn't crucify me. There's some like base minimum things, you know, like with over 25 games or something, or like played a full season or something like, or 2 full seasons, because like, you know, we talked about like that velocity team that let like 3 and 24, whatever they were, like 3 and 27, like they're worse. But I think it's like maybe it's minimum 100 games or something. I forget what the number was, but yeah, it's around a 25%
Oh,
win rate.
Super Chloe's in chat.
Oh,
I believe
thank
his
God,
stat,
Chloe.
Chloe, what's the stat? What's the stat, Chloe?
Yeah, so I don't fuck it up. Please get me
Yeah,
the exact.
it's funny. I've never seen her in chat before, and here we are. She hears stats. It is like it just appears like a genie.
She is. You know how we have StatsBot?
Yeah,
It's actually her and Tom.
yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah,
Formulas, but we
is
like to pretend
StatsBot
they're not
killing you
real
guys
people.
on the broadcast right now?
Yeah, StatsBot is murdering us in predictions. They
That's
keep getting
so
me like the
sick.
quote unquote upsets.
They should retire, or like leave Riot and go start one of those betting or fantasy sites or something like that, and just clean up by always having the stats up.
So Super Chloe says she doesn't have the database in front of her right now because the LCS team.
Chloe, we need you to carry around like a Pokédex everywhere you go, just like.
So
up.
I forget if I think it's based off volume, because it has, like she was saying, like there's 0-6 players and there's 0 whatever players, but like he's played so many games that like if you take a certain amount, I think it's like some base. And then the other thing that she said, because we were using like elos to calculate the team strength for that StatsBot thing, he's the lowest elo player in the league, I think, according to like,
wrong word. Lose.
yeah.
So sad. And I don't want it to be that case. I like Froggen. He's this legendary player. Like I don't want these things to be. It's not like we're like, oh yeah, his stats suck. Hooray! Like, because I think some people perceive it when we say these types of things that we're like trying to dog on him. It's just like it's really shitty and concerning for Golden Guardians and for Froggen himself. Like he's got to turn it around this year. So I don't know.
Well, there's definitely a lot of pressure on him, so
yeah,
I feel like a lot of like he really wanted to redeem himself this split, so I feel like he will still be really ambitious on like improving and like maybe trying to turn it still around. So the stats are pretty concerning. I didn't actually know these like things that are pretty crazy for sure. But
yeah, I would have to. I'll leave it to the stats team to develop.
Well, it's unlikely that they're ever going to put out a stat slide that's like, did you know Froggen is statistically at the bottom of the pack of all time?
Yeah, wasn't there like once like this like GIF where it's like 118 and 3 assists in 2 games, and then there's like this GIF, this one pro player.
Oh, Lep.
Like,
yeah, the Lep.
And he doesn't know what the camera is on. I mean, he looks into the camera.
He's so happy. Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah. The same way that there's Dark Dash, there needs to be a dark StatsBot that just is putting out like these evil versions of stats, like all the negative ones.
Well, and I don't want to pile on Froggen only for like, oh, that's why Golden Guardians is losing, to be fair, because like if you want to talk about like careers trending downwards, like Haunter did not end TSS. Like when 2016, 2017, it was undeniable that Haunter was among the best top laners in the league. I don't think anyone would have made that case at all last year.
Yeah.
And it's probably still
as well playing kind of like rough team comps. I feel like they're
like
easy
like
ones.
their
yeah. I feel like Victor top, out of my experience, is really hard to play and to pull out. I think the team needs to play really good around it. Get the Victor hat and then play the game slowly, and then the Victor can take over the game. But if you are not a consistent team, or you're still like kind of trying to find yourselves, I think Victor makes the game really hard to play, and I'm not sure if like GGS is ready for these picks. Obviously, like I don't have the insight in like what is their flavor or what is their team style, but Victor seems really hard for me, I think, to pull off for them. I feel like I don't know what they played with Soraka because I didn't watch all the games, but I think they played like Draven Soraka or something like this.
Yeah,
Like,
and then they had like a LeBlanc and something else. So it was like a really
yeah, it's like they need to really hardcore win lane. If they do like a mistake and Soraka just dies once or twice, it's like instantly Soraka has like no priority in lane anymore at this point. Enemy support will just be mid lane, and enemy mid lane is just like, hey, I'm playing against the LeBlanc, but my support is here to back me up every time she jumps in. So I think they play really hard comps, and I believe they fall behind early games. So it's like, I think really hard to play.
Yeah. Well, hey, Boy is still here. How's it going, Boy?
Yeah.
Hi.
Not good. It's good.
We forgot you. So here,
It's okay.
let's go in on this. Your original topic was you think Golden Guardians is destined to be back-to-back 10th place, cementing themselves as one of the lowest performing teams in LCS history. I don't think they're going to be 10 to 10, or I don't think they're going to be 10th and 10th. I'm much like my old Bitcoin and altcoins. I'm holding on to this in the sheer hope that this stock is worth something at some point in time. But I do think it's going to be. I think I think something will happen. I think some team will come crashing down. Maybe CLG. We don't know. They didn't look that great that first week. Maybe they'll have that week again. Mark.
Hopefully not.
Yeah, Mark. Do you think they'll be 10-10 both weeks or both splits?
No, I don't think so. I'm not even convinced like they're 100% locked into 10th this split. Like people go through slumps, people go through hot streaks. Like it's only 2 weeks into the season. There's 7 more to go. So I think someone else could go completely mental boom too, and maybe they rally a little bit. Yeah, but I don't think it's. I think their playoff hopes are pretty over.
I feel like always like the good example is the old like the Cloud9 last year. But it's like I feel like even like me and Optic, I think we were like 9th and Cloud9 was 10th, and Cloud9 made it till the finals, and we made it to 7th place. I think if we won like one more game,
we were one.
Yeah,
away. This is one of Mark's favorite stories. Is that you guys were one game away from making the playoffs. He says that all the time.
Yeah, and I think if we won that one game, I think T7 would have been out. That would be like an insane upset. So I feel like teams can pull it like around if something clicks or if the team just finds their play style and their drafts. But
well, in Twitch chat
it's uncommon.
Twitch chat thinks we hate 100T, and the thing that I'll say is, if Golden Guardians was slightly better, we'd be talking about 100T potentially being 10th place this split right now, because Golden Guardians would have beat out 100T in that match, and
that was close, yeah.
Yeah. So I think 100T is not too far away in terms of not looking good. All right. Anyway, anything you want to say at the end here, Boy?
Yes, I want to get like your quick thoughts on like Olay. I think Olay is one of those players that had like an amazing 2017 year with Immortals, and then he went to Liquid. It didn't really work out though with, and then now in Golden Guardians it looks even worse than it was on Liquid. So you think it's like Olay is just like trending downwards? Or
Okay,
is
so
it like
super quick thoughts on Olay because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
But yeah, what do you think? Power, I'll let you handle it, PoE.
I think obviously I never played with Olay, so I can't really tell on what the issue right now is. But from what I heard in previous interviews and previous splits, is that he has confidence issues. So if Golden Guardians is doing really bad now, and I don't know how they are like as a team, if there's like really friendly environment. So maybe like these players are kind of upset that they're losing so much, and then Olay has maybe confidence issues. So that combination can be really bad with like a bad start into the split. So yeah, I could see that as like as an issue.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming in, Boy.
Thank you for having me on the show. Have a good night, guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Somebody in Twitch chat says these two dudes are the most biased people on the scene. Trust nothing they say. Listen, don't talk about Mark and PowerofEvil that way. They're incredible people. They're not biased at all. All right, that's why I brought them on this show. All right, they're incredible folks. All right, let's take a quick break. PowerofEvil, you can hide your face so that your sponsor doesn't yell at you or your team. We're going to talk about the sponsor for this show, Alienware. Woohoo! So, cool story. Just a little bit before this show, I brought back an old show. Well, not a show, old show. I've only done one show of it, but we did Stream Chat, second episode I've ever done. I interview streamers. You can go check it out. And on that show, which is really cool, the first time I've ever been able to do this, I was able to give out an Alienware Aurora R8, like a full desktop computer with a i7-9700K in it, to a streamer, Invader V, who just started streaming about a month ago and has been popping off. And it just kind of shows the cool things that Alienware is doing in the space. Obviously, there was some support in there from Intel as well, so thank you to them. But it's been really cool to work with Alienware. Just the amount of cool stuff we've been able to do. It's been ridiculous. Tomorrow I'm going to my old alma mater, CSULB. Alma mater? I don't know how to pronounce it. For like a meetup with the club there to talk about esports. Be giving away one of these Alienware headsets there. There's just a ton of cool stuff. Oh, one thing that is also really neat is this week, you may notice if you're watching in my YouTube channel of interviews, we have 4K video on all these interviews. I can't promise we're going to be able to do it all the time because it does generate giant files, and it's not just the computer that we need help with, but also bandwidth and all that. But for what we can do this year, we're going to try to do a lot more 4K interviews, and that's because of a laptop notebook, the Alienware 15, that they were able to provide us for use at the LCS every week. Now my editor's using it, so it's just cool. They are doing a lot to level up my content, to let me do cool things, awesome stuff, and I'm just really excited about it. It's kind of neat that they've just improved so much of the initiatives I'm doing. Mark is wearing their headset right now, and it goes so well with that cat castle in the background, is what I would say. Anyway, you can go check out their stuff, Dell.com/Travis. There's all sorts of cool stuff over there. They've got amazing products and more. They sponsor LCS itself, Team Liquid, others. So thank you so much to Team Liquid for sponsoring the show, and be sure to check them out. All right, next caller. Mark?
Whoops.
Well, we got a little bit of time because Mark zoned out. Randomness911. Counterlogic Gaming got gifted a sub by Cool for Joe. TLK's a resub for 4 months in a row. Dragon Iro, 2 months. Moonizzle for 6. Dr. Manhattan for 15. Thank you. Wayward Soul for 8. Alibas for 9. That Weird Dude 25 for 7 months, and said, Travis, take my energy, and then gifted 10 subs to the channel. Pretty impressive what he's up to.
Who's your longest sub, Travis?
What's that?
Who's your longest sub you have?
The longest sub? I think 17 months. I think I saw somebody sub today for 17 months, which is, yeah, Boba Cola is at the 17-month mark, and somebody else I think is too, which is cool because I didn't start streaming until Nemsic as well, until like probably 17 months ago. Coco Kanja is here. Coco Kanja, where are you calling from?
Detroit.
Detroit. Also a cold place, I imagine.
Actually, it was a 70-degree swing. It was negative.
It was 70 degrees? I thought it was no more polar vortex then.
So it was negative 20 on Friday, and it swung. Now it's like 50 above.
Wow. That's crazy.
Crazy.
What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
Well, Steve's in chat. What up, Steve? I guess it's a good question for you. I think
Yeah, but
Viper...
he's not on the show.
Yeah, but he's in chat. Whatever.
Come on the show.
I think Viper will
to talk
be
to us.
I think Viper will be Rookie of the Split. Him and FlyQuest have been impressing me, and I think CoreJJ will be MVP. He's actually carrying double lift, it seems like, so far.
Wow. Big words. All right. What do you think of Viper, PowerofEvil? Have you had a chance to see him or pay attention to him much?
I think Viper is for sure a really good rookie. Think he still obviously has some stuff to learn and to improve. I don't know how his in-game communication is, but from the games he has played, he seemed pretty good in most matches. I think the game against us, can't remember how the game went. I feel like he just got outscaled, and then I think Dashan was just way more impactful in the late game, but I would say that was in combination with them not snowballing good, and sometimes getting caught by the Time Kench ultimate. So I would say That's obviously stuff you need to learn, and that like comes a lot by experience and by playing these stage games. So I think he has a lot of potential, and it's probably gonna be a really strong top laner for sure.
Mark, I don't know if you guys talk about like who's in the running for a rookie, only 2 weeks in.
Usually not. It's a little early. I mean, the thing is, there's not a ton of rookies, depending on what ends up happening, because you have like Wiggly or Ray. He'll be a rookie. Optic has like Asta, who could be a rookie, but I think
Yeah,
he's
he was
the
like
only.
the one that I was like, he was also really impressive too.
Yeah, but
Is
Broken
Arrow
Blade.
actually still coming in, or are they playing with Asta now? Actually,
So I'm not sure. I think I've heard they're planning on playing Arrow, but I'm just even thinking like who are the rookies at all? Because then you only also have Broken Blade, right? So you have like 3 or 4 rookies total.
does Broken Blade count as a rookie since he comes from TCL?
TCL, yeah, I don't know. I'd have to double check that. So
I thought somebody
it's
told me
pretty
that he
close.
did.
Oh, that's.
Is Chloe able to answer that question? Is Chloe
Chloe
still here?
would be if we can make her continue to do her
Chloe?
real world job for us for free.
Chloe?
But I would say so far Viper has
Broken
an
Blade
okay...
is not a rookie. We've got the official Super Chloe.
Oh shit!
statement.
Okay.
Wait, so he is one or he's not one?
He's not. He is not a rookie.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so then Viper has a good chance because I'm pretty sure in terms of rookies who are going to like get enough time to potentially do it, it's between him and Wiggly.
And
so,
Vulcan, right? And Vulcan, right?
Vulcan might be. He's played, I think, at least 2 games in LCS with Piglet the last split, but that's not enough to make him not a rookie.
Yeah, Ray played 2 games last split too, so
Right.
So it's probably between these 3.
Yeah.
They need to like battle each other out for it.
I mean, PoE's just got to carry Wiggly to a.
Yeah, I'm gonna make Ray look really good, especially against these rookies, and then
You'll let him get the kills and stuff. You'll be like, "This is for you. Go get it."
All those jungle fights.
First victim was Viper, First
Yeah.
victim was Viper. Next is Vulcan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious if that ends up happening. Your other comment was CoreJJ getting MVP.
Yeah.
CoreJJ MVP.
Oh, so the rookie one is really hard to say so far. CoreJJ being MVP also really hard to say, but I think he has a better case for it than Viper has for. I mean, only 4 games in, of course, but like CoreJJ, I think has been one of the most important people on that 4-0 team. So I think he's the early favorite, you could say, for MVP, but it's also super early. I don't know if PowerofEvil feels like someone else is more impactful in their games.
Well, no, I definitely agree that I think CoreJJ is doing a lot in their games and a lot of their victories. I believe it's just them playing really good around botline again. I think Xmith is really experienced jungler, and Double Lift, CoreJJ are just winning the lanes, and Snowball is early leads really good. So I would say definitely CoreJJ a runner third, but it's like so early in the split. Like we had only 4 games. There's like still so many games left, and it's gonna probably just be gonna see like how, because I feel like always MVP is like, okay, Team Liquid now ends up being like 16-2 or something like this. It's like did they really need this one guy, this one MVP to like carry them in these games, right? But was it like maybe a player in like one of the middle pack tier teams who's making that team click and is making them team like a top tier team, He's gonna like Smurf in playoffs or something like this. I feel like that's always like a huge difference too.
I agree on that point. Like I think for me, I like when MVP is more I guess fluid like that, where it's not just about like who's the best guy on the best team or like who's the best player in the league, because then you're looking at like a very small handful of people who could possibly win that award every single year. But like you're saying, if there's a team, I don't know, let's say Optic right now is like a top 4 team and they finish top 4, like, and Crown keeps hulking out, like it's really hard to not say Crown, even though he's only on the 4th best team, isn't more valuable than anyone on Team Liquid, who was the number 1 team from last split anyways.
Coco, you said you think CoreJJ is carrying Double Lift.
Yeah, It seems like Doublelift, he's still playing out of his mind always, but
Okay, good.
just the games are just, it looks so easy to them, and it's like they scroll the bot and like they're always pushing the other guys in, and it looks so easy. And Ole made it look easy too, but like it's like they're playing against academy kids.
Yeah, I mean Mark, have you pulled a Team Liquid person yet? A good person to talk about TL?
I didn't see anyone talking about TLD. There's not much to say.
Okay. Oh, and so then that's great because we'll open it up here. Kind of. I'm curious because you said they kind of look like they're smurfing. I'm wondering if when Team Liquid is finally going to lose a game.
I think if they do, it'll be TSM.
Why TSM?
Well, they already knocked out like the other two teams that I thought were really good. Maybe this next FlyQuest game even. Like maybe those are the two teams that I can see if they have a bad day and those teams have a good day, possibly dropping. But at the moment, I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to watch the FlyQuest and Team Liquid games. And FlyQuest right now, I think second place. They only lost against us, so pretty curious how these guys match against each other. Or like if FlyQuest maybe can get a really good draft against them and just take a game away from them. So excited for that one for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Mark, are they just smurfing right now?
Yes and no. Like I think they look clearly like the best team, but I don't feel like they are like. I felt more impressed with Immortals in 2016 spring, and like how they were just absolutely running people over. A number of Team Liquid's games have felt. I think at least two of their games have felt like they just were the better team with better players, and they kind of just waited for them to win, kind of thing, you know.
And I think wasn't there like I saw that like Smithy like won like two Baron 50-50s too against these teams, something like this. So like
yeah.
Like, I don't know if it would have like changed maybe the outcome of the game, but so like Smithy securing this object, just making it like I guess like easy win instead of making it like like a fight for it,
Yeah, I mean even the game that you guys played, like I thought you had a couple, like you guys were close to getting a lot of good plays on them, but like poor JJ would save someone or something, or Smithy would barely get out alive a number of times that like it didn't actually work out, but it wasn't like it felt super easy or they were running you guys over for the whole game.
Yeah, I agree. I think definitely they are not like unbeatable, but obviously they are for sure like right now on the top of the ladder, and I think it just depends on how fast maybe the other teams can catch up, since the well-packed tier teams are pretty even right now and everyone can take games from each other. So pretty curious who's like the first maybe like middle tier team who can like make that jump to the top tier ladder and like maybe take games away from Team Liquid.
Yeah. Is there, because I thought after the first week that it was like TL C9 were the top tier, but I don't know if that's the case anymore.
Well, I think C9 faced already Team Liquid, so I don't know how their schedule looks like, but I think C9 is still really good. I think they maybe just had a bad day against us as well. I think they are normally better, and
because if you're losing a CLG, then I mean, what are you doing, Cloud9? I mean,
savage.
I'm just kidding. But I do. I mean, it is worth noting that they're the only, or that they went down to 2-2. Like it's interesting that Team Liquid is so far ahead of everyone except for FlyQuest, and even FlyQuest is behind. And it's been like there's been like 4 games, right? Like the amount of 2-2 teams in the league are pretty high. Maybe it's not super unusual for this point in time, but I feel like usually we see things a little bit more neck and neck. So just interesting. All right.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of room for teams to improve at this point. Like I don't think anyone has their synergy nailed down that well.
Yeah. Coco, any final thoughts before we say goodbye?
No, just want to say thanks to you and Mark. Without saying too much, you guys have affected my life and me in the position I'm in now.
Oh,
that's about it.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad we could hook you up with that sweet CEO job. Hopefully you'll pay it back.
One day.
Yeah, thank you. Everyone. Oh, I cut him off, sorry. Gave him the boot as he was saying bye. I feel so bad. All right. Mark is off to grab the next person as he starts to wake up. That weird dude, thank you for the 20 or for the 10 gifted subs. That's sick. Ferdy IRL, thank you for the 8 months. That weird dude then sent 500, but dude's on a roll. Mellow Jello 100, thank you for the prime. That weird dude gifted to Power of Evil. So Power of Evil now is a Travis Gafford sub. It's a big hope he had coming on the show. Tic Tac Toe Ninja.
Goal achieved.
Tic Tac Toe Ninja, thank you for the 8 months. Mega Force 2009, thank you for the prime. Blank 27, thank you for 4 months in a row. Marshall 4 with the 12 months. We did it. Love PoE. Very happy with CLGs last week, and says Marshall. One is on the show. One, where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm from Colorado.
Colorado. Did you change your name away from your real name? Because you had a different name on Discord a little bit ago.
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay, I won't reveal.
Oh, it's fine. It's Hunter. I don't even really know why I changed it.
All right. So I don't even know what we're doing. So you're in Colorado. How's Colorado right now?
It's totally fine. Like I said, I'm sick, so no matter where I'm at, it sucks.
Oh, jeez. Okay. Well, that's one way to look at the world. What do you want to talk about on the show?
I think veterancy and intangibilities just get way too much credit, and they're kind of the bane of pro play.
Sorry, one more time?
Veterancy and intangibilities kind of ruin pro play.
Can you elaborate what you mean by that?
Yeah, so so veterancy as in so I don't want to just jump on the, I mean, we were already talking about Froggen and stuff, but just looking at two rosters specifically, 100T and Golden Guardians, those two I think were expected to place higher because of, I mean, obviously some pickups, but because of veterancy. And I don't really understand, because it's just way different than traditional sports where League is always changing, it's always evolving, the meta is always you have to adapt to the meta, and that only matters if you're keeping up with that, which is why we see players like Bjergsen and Jensen stay at the top for so long. I mean, those are veterans, but they've been changing with the game, as opposed to players like Huhi and Froggen, who I don't think have changed at all. And so, okay, they're veterans, but that doesn't, there's no credit to that.
Yeah. I mean, Team Liquid is a pretty impressive team, and they've got a lot of veterans.
Sure, and I think that they've also, they step up to the plate of what needs to be done at that time, and they're not so one-dimensional.
So maybe your point is just that people give too much credit to veterans, or people get hyped up on players that have been around for a long time, maybe overlook players that are newer.
Yeah, well, and that's why I was kind of trying to tie it into the intangibilities thing with I just keep looking at Afremu and just how people, if you look at just his mechanical play and how he is individually playing, I just think he's just really bad. I just think he's kind of trash. But
he got MVP a year ago.
Okay, yeah, he did, and I think that MVP was pretty heavily impacted due to recency bias. Yeah. I think that was Hooney's. But yeah, either way, just I don't know. I look at someone like High, who he was, kind of, I think, kept around longer than he should have been because of intangibilities. And I mean, yeah, these are all really important things. But if you look at traditional sports, you'll have guys that you'll keep around because of these things that you can't really quantify. But that's because the rosters are so big, so someone like that can have a unique impact, where League of Legends, you only have 5 players. So if someone is only bringing you intangibilities, but they're kind of just a trash player, I just don't really see how that pays off.
Sure. All right. Well, you've fired shots at several pro players. Let's break this apart. So, do people put too much stock in experience? Power of Evil.
I think being a veteran is really important, and I think you should only try to have a balance between veterans and rookies. You shouldn't only have rookies. I agree that certain veterans, or some veterans, are different to other veterans, because in the sense of there's veterans, but I think that has more to do with actually player attitude and player mindset, because just because you're a veteran doesn't mean that you can stop playing the game, or you can chill and relax and be the best. And yeah, I don't need to practice as much. I can play Steam games or let's play some WoW. So it's like
Fortnite.
you need to, or Fortnite, yeah. So I strongly believe that veterans have a lot of times the edge over rookies, since they have experience in stressful situations. They have possibly stage games experience when you're 0-2 down in a series, when it's 5th game in a series, or they have experience from long games, short games. They experience different metas, different champion pools. They know how to adapt really fast. They should know I think they should know pretty much every aspect of the game at this point, and try to teach the rookies on how to react, how to see certain things, how to adapt, how to maybe improve their communication. So veterans can help a lot, and you see that like teams like Team Liquid, they get these veterans and they're just winning the split. So I think it's more about getting the right veteran, and I guess motivating the veteran and keeping just like, I think it just depends on from person to person. So I wouldn't say like, yeah, this veteran is bad, this veteran is good. And I actually never played with a Fromo, but since you're firing shots at him, I would actually defend him, since I think last
from what
year
you're
his
saying?
MVP was for sure deserved. I think he was like one of the best supports. Like when I was playing against him in Optic, I think he was really, really good at engaging. I think Rakan was perfectly fitting his champion pool. He was finding these right engages, playing really good with Cody-san. I feel like the Worlds kind of was not as good, because I don't think they should have maybe changed the AD carry, but I don't have the insight of that on that situation, so don't want to judge people. And I don't know like if he did that bad this year, but yeah, I would probably defend him. I think he didn't do that bad. And I think Afroma brings a lot of like even leadership. Like there's veterans who lead a lot in the game. From what I heard from multiple players, that Afroma leads a lot in the game with communication, doing the right calls. If that is sneaking Baron, if that is just being creative in game, and so that was like a really long answer, but I think
No,
veterans
but that's kind of why I was talking about, because you were talking about leadership and stuff, and I'm saying, okay, that's great, but to me, he either just like hardcore ints down mid, or sometimes he can pop off and stuff. And to me, I would rather just have someone who's consistent and doesn't have the intangibles, because I think I can rely on that guy a little bit more.
So I'll chime in here. I think one reason that you as a viewer probably don't value intangibles is because you don't get to see them almost ever, the way a person who plays in these games can feel like what a player with intangibles brings to you. Like when you play with someone who knows the right calls and the right stuff to do and can keep people even keeled, who can like help people focused on improving week over week in scrims and practices. Like this is stuff that as a viewer you'll never see, and if he walks in like into game, you'll think this guy's a trash bag, but like his team will have his back and stuff like that. So I think intangibles may be overrated by some people in the community, but I have a feeling it's much more likely that viewers underrate those kinds of things. Or what might happen as well is maybe a broadcast team might overhype the importance of said intangible, but I don't
Sure.
think that makes it we sometimes repeat the same narrative, and so you might hear us say Aframu shot calling 15 times, and maybe that's why you think it's overvalued by everyone, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. And I think to your point on veterans, like I don't think it's inherently like a veteran that veterancy is good or veteran status is bad.
Right.
Just like when you get older, like League is a very, very, very demanding game, and as you get older in life, it's hard to stay as motivated as you were when you were young. And so it's just about determining if that veteran that you're signing is still hungry and like League is their top priority, or if they're starting to have their fire burn out and they're not playing as much solo queue, whatever it is. I think
So
that kind of stuff matters.
do you think it was fair that I compared Aframu to High? Because like I said, I think High, could pull out these crazy miracle wins that C9 probably didn't deserve. But when push comes to shove and they had to go against, the top teams, it kind of showed that High just wasn't good enough. And that's what I worry about with Aframu and players like that they're just like, they're just not going to be good enough against the top teams.
I feel like it depends so much. Like the problem is that I think you're making a broad statement about veterans, and like it's so dependent on the player. Like I think it might be fair to say that teams put too much faith in players after they are past their prime, like, and that
Right.
I think
Yeah,
fans do
yeah.
too, right? Like, we've talked a lot about. I don't want to even say it because we just bring them up too much.
But
But
like here's a counterpoint. Like PoE, you've been playing since like what, season 4?
Yeah, I've been playing since I'm 17. I qualified with 16, playing since 17. I'm 21
We-
now, so it's like my 5th year. Like my 5th year now with CLG.
Right.
so like 2014.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
so like I would say PoE is a fucking veteran. He's been playing for 4+ years at a pro
veterans
level.
are great to have for sure. I just like
Right,
I was
but I'm
saying
saying
the
like
ones that aren't changing, you know.
right, but that's not like a veteran problem. That's like a person problem. Some people burn out in 2 years and they're barely a veteran before like they're
I
so like
definitely agree. I think it's burning out and keeping up with the game. To your example of high, I would say it's a little different as well, since I feel like midlane is a really important role where you need to like be really strong mechanically, because if midlane is unstable or you are falling behind and you're having these inconsistent games, since midlane is the center of the map, it's I think a really crucial role. So maybe you see like the game break open wide off like way more often if the midlane crumbles. So maybe that's why you mentioned high before, but as you already said, like he pulled out these like crazy game wins as well. So it's like maybe if you put up like more rookies with him, he would have maybe done better than I think they had like this really old school squad with like Balls, Lemon, I think I can't remember all of them, but maybe it would have been more better if he had like more rookies he could train.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
I think it's. I'm trying to figure out a good way to sum this up. You're probably right that in some situations people get too addicted to, or not addicted. They get too into like the narrative that is spun around these veterans, and it probably gives them a ton of bonus points that maybe they don't always deserve. But on the other hand, like, and maybe that was the full extent of your point, but man, there's some veterans out there that are still killing it.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. I'm not. Veterans are good, obviously, to have.
Just like people put too many bonus points in these categories that are not really statistically driven, I guess you're saying.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's weird.
You for sure need like I think scouting on like is it worth it to pick up the veteran or not, and does it fit your team?
Yeah. That's good.
I also think one thing that people don't, maybe the scene's gotten better since my time when I was coaching and stuff, but like the amount of due diligence people do on pickups is sometimes like horrible. Like
Yeah.
if you're going to sign a player, you should talk to as many people who play with that player, coach with that player, get as many like opinions on that guy as you can, beyond just like, oh, I saw him in game and he was like, this is just a complete hypothetical. Like, yeah, PoE looked great on Optic. CLG goes, let's sign PoE because he looked like he was hard carrying Optic. But then like if you talk to Optic staff and other players at the time, maybe they like had to bend over backwards. Yeah, they hate him. They had to bend over backwards to appease his ego, and like they would have been better with just a normal mid laner or something. You know, like you don't. I think
I've
maybe
heard
that's
those
the thing that
stories about
happens.
PoE, so
I think that's actually like an insanely good point. Like I feel like even players do that. Like they ask like players from other teams before like even joining. It's like, so like, how was it playing with that teammate? Like, was he like working good? Was he like giving 120% when the team was going bad? Like, did he try improving the team? So like, I think that's really important in doing scouting and looking for like even veterans if they're still good. So like that's a really good point.
What would your old teammates say about you, PowerofEvil?
Well, you can ask them yourself, but I think I only heard good stuff. So I hope they will just
You
say,
only heard good stuff. Like whenever you go to your old teammates, you say, "What do you think about PowerofEvil?"
No,
and they're like,
no, like I
"Oh,
mean,
he's
like
not that
people
bad."
who spoke with my teammates, you know.
Gotcha.
So like they would be like, yeah, the reasons why we got you was we only heard good stuff about you. This. So
We need a rate my professor system for players, rate by player, and it's just like the old teammates go on there. You have to figure out who they are. You know, it's great.
My favorite thing is Travis. You remember when like ESPN did that article where it was like anonymous interview type thing? It was like everyone said like this is the player they want to play the most.
Yeah, that was
with,
actually
like,
one of their best pieces of content I feel like they've done.
You should steal that idea, like PoE saying, and just like ask players about other players, but like you know they're just silhouettes and with like a voice
do a video
modifier on
thing.
it. So
and,
no
like,
one
do
knows.
the voice changer. That's actually sick.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, hang on. I'm opening up my Trello board right now because that's actually something I'm going to add to it, to the ideas category. Thank you. And then I'm just going to, whenever people say great idea, I'm going to say thanks. It was something I came up
Damn,
with.
Mark. Nice.
Reminisce video interviews. Okay, great. Added to the Trello board. Okay,
All right.
So I think that's it for this topic. One, is there anything you want to say as we say goodbye?
Yeah, so I have a date with this girl and she wants to go bowling, but I have carpal tunnel like really badly, and I don't want to tell her because having carpal tunnel at 24 is like the bitchiest thing. So I don't really know what to do.
That's a lot.
This is actually a tough one.
It's a lot to unpack. Is having carpal tunnel at 24 considered?
Is this
Well,
how many
normally
dates
when
in
go
are you?
bowling, isn't there like pool as well? So I would just like go to the bowling area and like just ask her
No,
to
there's no
play
pool. This is
Wait,
America.
This is America?
Yeah, there's sometimes. Depends what bowling.
like
Get
normally
out
like
here
in
with
Germany
your
there's like pool
German
tables and some of this like
bowling
arcades.
alleys.
So
How many dates in are you?
This is first date.
Oh fuck. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I
definitely
know.
don't drop the carpal tunnel on this one. She suggested the bowling alley situation.
Wait, don't bowlers like have like these wrist braces they wear anyways? Maybe she just won't know if I wear mine.
Well, yeah, maybe. Yes, that might be true. Why are you solving this problem? You called in to ask.
All right.
What? Hang on.
Anyway, thanks for
I
having
want
me
to know.
on.
Did you propose the how did the bowling thing come about?
No, she said it was fun. She was like, "Oh, there's a bowling alley down the street."
You always need to. Did she ask you out?
No, I asked her out.
All right, you got to come up. Whenever you ask out, you need to be in control of where you're going because you want to give yourself the best advantage possible. So, and don't. This is a rookie mistake. Do not cede. It's you pick the territory. Okay. Like if I was to go on a date with a girl, I would say, "Have you ever been to the LCS press interview room?" All right, that's perfect. All right, I
that's the first date for you. Or what?
I know the layout of that battlefield incredibly well.
I don't think it's that. I mean, it's weird to have carpal tunnel at 24. Like obviously, like that means, but there's a story behind it. So like I don't know if you play it off right, it shouldn't be a big deal. Okay. Or you can just say you sprain your wrist and you don't want to go bowling, and then you can put it off if you really need to. But like I don't think it's that bad.
It's literally from playing too much League. But anyway, yeah, thanks for
the call. Wear the wrist and just say that like. Say the wristband. Wear the wristband.
Hey, if she got a problem with video games, dude, it ain't gonna work anyways long term.
No. But I understand why he doesn't want to throw the carpal tunnel thing out there on the first date. Not that I think it's a bad thing, but I understand you want to give yourself the confidence, and so yeah. I think the wrist thing is fine. Hey, thanks so much for the call, one, and best of luck on the date. And please do me a favor. Can you like add Mark on Discord or something like that, so that after the date you can call in with another topic and let us know at the end of the topic how the date went.
I will do that.
Okay, thank you so much.
I definitely think from now on we should end the show with the dating advice. Like the whole show is League centric, and then the last topic is just.
I'm worried about what we'll get on the show. Definitely don't flash the.
Nothing profane or lewd, wholesome dating advice.
Jarvis and Mark the date doctor.
Yeah, I honestly, we might want to do a parody one of these for Valentine's Day where we do dating advice.
Bring PoE back for that one.
Yeah, maybe. One, thank you so much for the call.
Yeah, later.
Yeah. All right, I'm adding that to the Trello board too. Okay, Valentine's Day parody Hotline League. Okay. I actually think that'd be so fun.
So these next two callers are on opposite sides at the same point. So I think I want to do something where like we don't really answer the first guy, but kind of make sure he doesn't rant for too long, and then we can bring the other one on, and then we can talk about it.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. And yes, if we do a Loveline League, we'll try to get Ovly on. I think it would be fun to have Ovly come on. All right. A couple more shout outs as we go through. Where are we? Marshaled Force, Space Cowboy 247, Crazy Seahorse, Megaforce 2009. Oh, Marshaled. Oh, we already did that. Ari Waddle, thank you for the 12 months. Washed Up Cup, Supreme Court for 3 months. Shadow 5545. That's what's up 777. Pluto 7443 at 10 months. Event Nexus for a year. Thank you. Squeak the Week coming back. Robert Max, thank you for the 6 months. And Divide NZL for the 11 months in a row. By the way, speaking of somebody who resubbed earlier, Dr. Manhattan is on the show. Dr. Manhattan, are you Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, DC.
Ah, yes. Yes, it's so. I always feel like when I predict, it never works. But I've nailed. You've been on the show long enough that. Welcome back. This is as a personal victory for me.
I am glad to be back.
Okay, great. Well, what do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So I'm not exactly sure how hot of a take this is, but I want to say that despite the record that they currently do have right now, I believe that 100 Thieves still has. I believe they're still a top 4 team.
Sorry, you're saying 100 Thieves is still a top 4 team?
By the end of the season, they'll be a top 4 team. Yes.
Okay, all right. So why?
Well, most people are gonna point to the record, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, I think that they had one of, if not the most difficult opening, like couple of games that they had, for any team in the LCS. They opened with what? They opened with C9. They also played TSM in their opening one. I thought they were making really good upgrades in the offseason. And then they also had to play Team Liquid. I mean, those are probably 3 of the most projected strong teams in the LCS. And I would say they're also 3 of the best teams right now. So that's obviously going to hurt their record right now. And while I kind of agree with people that they didn't really look too convincing with Golden Guardians, I think that the addition of Bang kind of just... It kind of just fucked with the whole formula that they had last split, in the sense of it's a new player, so obviously that's just gonna change the dynamic of the team. On top of the fact that they have Huhi, so I think that people are just being a bit too hard on them because it's easy to be hard on 100 Thieves. But I think if you give them some more time as the season goes on, they will be much better. On top of the state of the meta kind of being chaotic.
Okay, so we have to figure out how to do this because the next caller is an inverse, but. I mean, do you
want to pull both in at the same time? Let the other guy give his spiel and then we discuss, or do you want to?
Yeah, let's do that. Why not?
Okay.
All right. Hang tight. We don't normally do this. This is an advanced Hotline League call situation. Hang in there, PowerofEvil. Yeah, do your best. Are you Dr. Manhattan?
I'm great.
Okay.
I'm kind of tired.
Got the other.
And Trap Lover 69 is in the call. Trap Lover 69, where are you calling from?
From Long Island, New York.
Long Island, New York. Okay. Well, we had another Long Island, New York person earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so what is your take on 100 Thieves?
I think they're dead in the water. They're probably gonna be 9th or 10th. They're screwed. There's no way. I think Aframu's totally thrown in the towel. I don't know how they somehow chose Huhi as a mid laner. I know that they were already pretty in bad waters with who they had, but then Huhi, I mean, I think he's probably the worst mid laner in the LCS right now. And someday they just think he's some kind of wizard that can do whatever they want, and they just have infinite faith in him. So they'll just put him on whatever champion, expect him to pop off. And if he like does garbage on a Scion game, then it's like a disaster. I don't think Onda's good at all. I don't know what people see in him, and I don't know. I think Bang can't 1v9. So I think honestly, Aframu's not even gonna be a support for very much longer. I think he's gonna totally sell out and go like into merch and shit for 100 Thieves, and like get a coaching position. I think he's done.
Okay.
PoE's face during all that rant was just the funniest shit.
Yeah, I know.
All
It's
right.
just
So first off,
one potential counterpoint is
well, hang on, really quickly.
Okay.
Dr. Manhattan and Trap Lover, please do me a favor and don't argue with each other or whatever. Just let us discuss, and then maybe we'll figure out a way for you guys to respond or something. But
Yeah,
Mark,
absolutely.
Mark, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say one counterpoint there was that he did get a solo kill against Froggen in their matchup, which was all I was going to throw in there.
Okay.
Before I let PoE go, because he looked like he was ready to say some stuff.
Yeah.
well, that was a lot of stuff coming.
Well,
in.
you can also respond to Dr. Manhattan's,
Yeah.
right? Like you got these two sides. Where are you at?
Well, I would say I don't think 100 Thieves looks like a top 4 team right now. I could see them get to playoffs and do better in playoffs for sure. So, like, I feel like they have the raw talent. I know it's like so surprising to me. I feel like Afromo getting the MVP last year, and then now like there's people just saying like he's so bad. Like we didn't play them yet, but I don't know how true that is. I feel like Bang Afromo should sound way better than it is right now. They're like not really performing that well, I think. So for sure, I think Afromo Bang they need to pick it up. They need to get these wins because I think them and someday are like the main carries of the team. So like the top and bottom, I think they are really really strong like force. And Under needs to just kind of enable them and get them these early game leads. So I would say I agree that Under Thieves is underperforming a lot right now, but I feel like they should be able to pick it up later to the split. I would say there should be a playoffs team. I think just from the raw talent of the roster, I could like hardly see that they don't make it. But at the same time, it's so weird that they're like underperforming so hard. So it's really rough.
Yeah. So now we've got PowerofEvil in the middle. We've
Yes.
got them coming into playoffs, but maybe not top 4. Mark, where do you land in all this stuff?
So I'm looking at the rosters right now, and I have a hard time saying anyone is like definitely better than because the main point that Dr. Manhattan, the other what was Trap Lover was saying was that one was definitively top 4 and the split, one was definitively like out of playoffs and one of the worst teams. But I don't see a world where they're definitively worse than these teams, but I also don't see a world where they're definitively better than like, yeah, Team Liquid feels like the best team in the league. And then after that, it's a bit of a toss-up. FlyQuest looks really good right now, but I think a lot of people would question the ceiling of that team a little bit and how much further they can really, go. I think that was a similar problem that they ran into a little bit last split. I think they're a lot better than last split, but it's still a concern about can they really be the second or third best team in the league. C9 is someone who a lot of people are expecting to get into top 4. But outside them, like it's really up in the air. You have TSM, Clutch Gaming, CLG, Optic, all these guys at 2 and 2 who have looked good and have looked better than 100 Thieves so far. And I think 100 Thieves roster is really talented, but not like so much so that I would just expect them to instantly overshoot a team like Clutch or CLG or FlyQuest or TSM. So I think I'm probably a little with PoE, but maybe a little more negative.
No, I could see what you're saying. I feel like maybe I'm a little bit overestimating the roster, especially after these performances. So I could definitely see that.
Yeah, I'm really worried for Huhi because I feel like whenever people ask me about 100T, I said you have to hope that this during the off season, you have to hope that Huhi was being held back by CLG and not the other way around. But his grand entrance to 100T has not looked great, and I don't feel like he's in a better place than he was on CLG. So just a lot of concerns around that. Like, it's interesting in that I'm very curious to see. I feel like 100T and GGS have really similar issues right now, where if they just had PowerofEvil in the mid lane, they'd be looking a lot better. So I'm very curious to see what ends up happening. I mean, I'm memeing, but also I just like it's.
I think Huhi's a bit of a streaky player. Like sometimes he looks completely like out of his mind boosted, and then other times he looks out of his mind good.
Has he looked like that way for like? Has he looked out of his mind good in a while though? I feel like all last year he wasn't.
Maybe I'm misremembering, but I think it was only a year ago. It might have been 20.
I mean, because a year ago this time, like Jat was predicting CLG was going to be the best, and then they were flopping pretty hard.
Right, but I was going to say during that time, I'm pretty sure Huhi was like the one bright spot for that team because Biofrost and 6A weren't gelling yet, and Rainover was like messing up, but they had really good early games, and Huhi was like the big. If I remember, he was playing a lot of Assassins, Katarina, and shit like that, and was like putting in really good performances. I think that was last year.
Yeah.
Which, to PoE's point, that was a long time ago, but who he is a streaky player in my mind, so like maybe he can turn it around. But I think that is still a problem that you have a streaky mid laner when earlier, PO was talking about how pivotal mid lane is to your map.
Yeah, I want to clarify that who he like kind of got me into like esports for League of Legends. Like I was a huge who he fan, so I'm kind of heartbroken that I have to say that I genuinely think he's like the worst like mid laner in the LCS right now.
Okay, let's hear from.
It just sucks.
Let's hear from. Yeah, I think Froggen might be below him. I think Dr. Manhattan, though, what do you think of all this? Because we're all being kind of down and not agreeing with you.
I mean, I would say like if you're talking about immediately, I would say, I mean, there's obviously cause for concern from them. But I mean, if we look at the past the past two splits, 100 Thieves have been in the LCS. I mean, they were a team that kind of started a bit slow, but then toward the end, or for example, the first split they were in, they actually were the team that handed Golden Guardians their first ever win, and they ended 4-5 in the first round robin, and ended up ending first. So I think that given more time, and again, who knows what direction the meta will go with the way Riot wants to do stuff, and rumor is they want to add more power to the bot lane. Turns out they have a world-class bot laner. This could actually, there's actually room for 100 Thieves to grow. But again, they're just kind of slow starters. So that's kind of that's kind of why people are for now. I would agree for now, but for the future, give them some time.
Trap Lover, any final thoughts?
I don't know. Hope 100T can pick it up because I actually like their roster.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Manhattan, thank you for the call. Any final thoughts from you?
It's cool to be part of this first dual call thing right here, and just again hoping the 100 Thieves can pull it off. But yeah, just thank you for having me here once again.
Hey, Trap Lover, the final thing, I have a question for you. Who is your favorite player in the LCS right now?
Oh, I'm a Double fanboy. I can't help myself. Love him.
See, I thought you were gonna say Sneaky.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, yeah, he's up there.
Yeah. I will talk to you both in future calls. Thank you for calling in.
Mm-hmm.
Mark didn't even react. He wasn't even paying attention to the joke.
No, they say goodbye. Thanks for the first ever duo call. I don't know. It looked like you had control of it.
Yeah, I was.
I don't think he got it.
He didn't get it. That's fine.
I did miss something.
Onwards and upwards to the next caller. Divide NZL, thank you for 11 months in a row. Smoke Dog, thank you for the 9 months. ZCogs, thank you for 2 months. That weird dude gifted us up to Mark. That's great. Liquid112, Steve coming in. 12 months. Steve's been a sub on the channel for 12 months. Thank you, Steve, for being here. Shipnate for the 8 months in a row, who says, here's my hot take. TSM. Liquid112, thank you for gifting a sub to Nian Poulet. That weird dude gifted a sub to Golden Guardians. Dark Sage 527. Sally's R for 3 months. Weird dude to 100 Thieves. Just gifting everybody. Connor H314, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from St. Louis, Missouri.
All right. And how's St. Louis?
Dude, it was so cold like a couple days ago. It was like gotten to the negatives. It hasn't gotten into the negatives for years. But now we're back at 60 degrees, so.
Well, glad to hear it. What do you want to talk about on the show tonight?
So I wanted to praise the stock system game that is on the LCS countdown now. I think it's really ingenuitive way to look at the teams and their power levels. I know it's just an ELO system, but we haven't had something like that before. And the stats team did, I think, a really good job looking at it. Plus, I mean, I'm kind of just a finance nerd along with a lot of things, but
yeah,
I really like looking at finance and stuff, and it's just pretty interesting to look at.
Mark, for the viewers who are at Bondi Harvest getting a halloumi tartine during the we lost PowerofEvil. He died. Okay,
yeah,
whatever.
I think my camera just died.
We'll figure it out. There's no way to
wait.
Do you have an extra battery or anything?
Well, I'll check for it.
Okay, go do that. That's fine. I'm going to talk to Mark for a little bit. For those of us that are getting halloumi tartines at Bondi Harvest during the countdown, do you want to explain the stock system and how that all works?
You want to talk about Bondi Harvest first?
Yeah.
Not a fan.
What the hell? How are you not a fan of Bondi Harvest? It's like they just have nothing but good food.
It's so like I just like I get it's a nice place and the food is all organic and shit, but I look at that menu and I order stuff and every time I'm just like, it wasn't that good.
And it's probably
you had-
expensive too if it's organic.
Yeah,
Have
it's
you-
expensive.
Have you had the halloumi tartine?
No, I have not because I don't know what the fuck you just said.
Okay, a
So I
halloumi,
probably
a
have not ordered it
tartine.
for that reason.
A tartine. A
No, I
tartine
can
is an
hear the syllables
open-faced-
you're saying. I don't know
it's an
what they
open-
are when
it's
you
an
put them together.
open-faced sandwich. So it's like it's you could consider it a toast, but it's open-faced.
I know an open face sandwich is continuing
And
on.
halloumi is colloquially referred to as squeaky cheese. I don't know if you've ever had the squeaky cheese before, but when you order the halloumi tartine, it's kind of like an avocado toast, but they put like a pistachio spread on it with some honey, and then they put like 3 different pieces of fried halloumi cheese on it, and it is delightful.
I'm gone for like 1 minute and suddenly it turned into a cooking show.
Have you been to Bondi Harvest PoE? It's not that far from the studio.
I don't think so.
No, you got to get it.
Travis,
Okay.
take PoE to Bondi Harvest, and then he can chime in on this topic because everything you just described to me just sounds like some kind of shit some guy living in the forest thought would be good, and that's not what sounds good to me.
It's so good.
I don't know. You take me to Mendocino Farms and you give me a not so fried chicken, fucking amazing.
No, it's super good.
You
Wait,
you give me whatever the hell you just said this sandwich is, not doing it for
okay,
me.
it's not a sandwich, it's a tartine.
Right there with you, Mark. Freaking, I like.
You don't
fatty
even.
food.
You've never been to Bondi Harvest. You don't be here. Stop defending him.
Connor
like
can have an
Mark.
opinion, all right? He's on the show. He's in the on-air room for a reason.
He doesn't. They don't get to talk about that. This is different. By the way, Connor.
PoE, do you know the like stock system thing we did? I don't know.
Oh,
Wait, hang on.
I didn't see that one.
PoE, what's your favorite thing you've had in LA for food?
Food?
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the Japanese food in Satal.
Okay.
I really enjoyed sushi in Santa Monica. Since
what is there like
I'm German, I feel
sugarfish?
like the sushi in Germany is good, but like it's so fresh. I feel like better.
Like
I really like
sugarfish?
Asian food, and I think Asian food is really good here in America.
What sushi place?
I don't know what it's called. I've been there so many times, but I don't know the name.
Sugarfish.
Sugarfish. Yeah, sugarfish.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. Sugarfish is pretty badass. Okay. Connor.
Yeah.
We were talking about the stock system. Mark.
Yes.
Talk about the stock system.
All right, so for Travis and PoE and anyone else watching who did not know Kesha's, the first week of the LCS, we used an ELO system that we calculated. Every player started at like 100 ELO. Then we built teams and we ran them through all of last year to get individual player ELOs that got adjusted. So when the new teams came together, they had ELOs based off last year, and they put the teams together, and it had the teams ranked based off their player ELO combined. And then we had a set amount of like money in air quotes to buy teams at the price of their ELO to predict if they're going to go up or down, and we're trying to accumulate more points. And so that was the system. I unfortunately bought a bunch of Golden Guardians thinking that they would. They were third from the bottom, and so I was like, "This is going to be great. I'll be able if they go." And you have to buy in 2-week chunks. So like I thought their first week was easy, and they would go 2-0, and then they might lose 0-2 the next week, but because they're low rated and how ELO works, like if you beat people above you, you go up more. So I was like, "This is going to be great." So I got fucked there, but that's generally how the system works.
So yeah, the first thing is I think it's really ingenuitive. Sorry to come over you.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
So there's a couple points that I think that you guys should do and like teams to stay away from and teams to actually like buy more of. And also now that I'm looking at the graphic, you have 10 shares, Mark, and everyone else has 9. So I don't know how that happened.
It's because I min-maxed better than they did. We were given roughly 5,000 points to start with, and I think I bought 1 of Echo Fox, which was the lowest placed team at the time, and I bought 4 of Golden Guardians, which was the third. So like those 2 things gave me enough to free up for a couple other things. But Yeah.
So yeah, I think so. I'm gonna go on the first thing I want to talk about is I'm gonna go on the unpopular opinion side, at least for the purposes of this like quote stock market. I think like you can hold on to a couple of those Golden Guardians because they have nowhere to go but up. Like the whole rule is that you want to buy low, sell high. That's obviously how like stock market works, like in that sense. And I think they're already third to last and they've tanked more. But I think that they have they have nowhere to go but up unless they literally go 0-18, and I don't think that team is gonna mental boom as easy as everyone says they are. I feel like definitely in contract should just be immune to mental boom after last year.
So
they're still in the mental boom from last year, Connor. Come on, get it together.
So one of the things that's scary is I was looking at like last year's like teams because we had them all graphed out how they did over the course of the year, and like it's not worth it to invest in a bad team that's going to keep losing, and it's worth keep investing in the best team that's going to keep winning. So like even if you like from what I saw in the trend lines from the last year, like it's not worth it to invest in a team like Golden Guardians if you think they're going to go 1-3 because it'll still be lower than what you bought in at. So like, I don't know, man. I don't think I want to buy any more Golden Guardians.
Well, I'm not saying buy more gold. I think you could like drop 1 or 2 or 3 of them, but just like holding on to a share or two probably would be really cool. But like, I guess I was under the impression that like if a team is way higher in elo, the loss didn't mean as much. And since Golden Guardians is going to be so low, maybe even going 1-3, and if they have like a surprise upset against like FlyQuest or Cloud9 or Team Liquid or whatever, some of those people that are at the top, their stock will go up, maybe.
So the interesting thing about this too is like the elos are what they're basically using for the stats bot to predict winners and losers, and it's like
I thought so.
Pretty fucking good job.
Yeah, I can't lie. I laughed when I saw FlyQuest was third, but I think you guys did too because nobody bought into them. But I mean, they went 3-1, and they're the only team that did that. Or went 3-1. There's obviously one that went 4-0, but who's laughing now?
It sounds like such a good, like way cooler than Fantasy LCS. I would be way more interested in doing this than Fantasy LCS.
Travis, get in on it.
Wait, how can I get in on it?
Connor, do you have the link to the first tweet that came out?
No, I'm just looking at the graphic from YouTube, and I had the schedule pulled up, like me evaluating which teams lost and won, and who they lost to and who they won against. So I was kind of like formulating who I think the risers like are going to be in the next couple weeks, and who I think the teams that are going to fall are. Another team that I think is going to rise, and I mean, I think 100 Thieves, once they gel, will have will rise super easily through the elo system or whatever.
Here, I'm sending it in a Skype to Travis and PoE.
Okay, cool.
Oops, I posted it twice.
Gotcha.
So these were what the stocks were at after the first during the first week. Like if you bought CLG, you would have made so much fucking money.
Yeah, no kidding. PoE turned it out. I don't think anyone really thought you would do like. I didn't think CLG was gonna go 2-2. Sorry, PoE, but
yeah, no,
I mean,
understandable.
Oh, Kobe's way down there.
People ask me like when people predicted us to not do good after first week, it's understandable. Like I'm not upset about it or anything.
You guys also went against Cloud9 and won, which like I didn't think was gonna happen. And there was also a Liquid game, which was also a really tough opponent. So I was just like, huh.
Wait, so yeah, nobody bought CLG stock?
Yeah, nobody bought CLG stock, and now it's higher than it was. So
or FlyQuest or Optic stock, which is kind of funny.
It's Counterlogic Gaming, yes.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, let me ask you this. PoE, which teams would you invest in for the next round? So like we have to buy in 2-week increments. So like who do you think is going to do well for the next 2 weeks?
I think I would invest. Obviously, TL is a safe bet, I would say. Cloud9 is good to invest. I think FlyQuest showed that they are capable of winning more games than losing. Then like now all the middle tier teams are there, so it's like really rough to say. But I would probably. I don't think Optic looked bad. I think their last draft was kind of troll, so I would actually not even I would even probably invest into Optic. They didn't seem too bad. And not sure about TSM.
Sam.
They won one game, but that was like such a fighting fiesta. Like I feel like they should have lost that game. Like when Arena was like 0, like Nocturne and Arena just kept dying to like 1v2 or 2v1, sorry, 2v1 against Aatrox. I don't even know. I can't remember how they won this game, but they died like 2 times against solo 1v2. So
Is what we're discussing right now.
I'm not too sure about them. About TSM, kind of like Dirks looked really good, but the team kind of seemed unstable. So probably like TL, FlyQuest.
Jesus, Travis,
Optic.
mute your mic.
For real.
Travis.
Well, I thought PoE was going to stop talking so that people could hear Sam's answer to why he didn't spend all his cash.
Go ahead.
No, PoE should keep talking. When you're having another conversation, mute your mic.
Well, no, I went to go get Sam so that we could all learn why that was the case.
Well, then
But PoE powered through because he's like a German.
I'm
and he
rude. I'm rude.
just went through.
He's got the
No, you're
power.
not rude. It was just impressive.
Okay.
Yeah. Travis Loki,
So, yeah.
worst host ever, says Ezreal Legend. Oh, no, fucking banned. All right, so let's sorry, continue PoE.
Yeah, no, I just said I would say like TL, FlyQuest, Optic. Since I believe in us, CLG as well.
Yeah, and you guys started super low, which I felt like, I don't know. I felt like that was a little low for a start for CLG. I felt like the way I didn't think you guys were going to go 2-2, but I also think the start on your like stock market elo was pretty low.
Yeah, where was our
considering-
elo mark? Let's be real. Where was
You
my
probably-
elo?
I was going to say, you probably had half the elo because of the hard carry performances on Optic, but... But I also think, I mean, I'll just go through a couple more. Cloud9, I agree, is going to be a riser. I think Clutch might fall. I think they have like a pretty tough schedule coming up, if I remember correctly. 100 Thieves, Cloud9, CLG. You guys are looking good, so. And FlyQuest, yeah, like, that's a tough schedule coming up. I think they're going to fall. So personally, I would stay away from Clutch. And I don't know, I think CLG is going to keep doing and maybe go average, and Clutch will fall, Cloud9 will rise. And maybe I have hope in Golden Guardians. I really don't think they're going to mental boom easily, considering their like just the players they have. I mean, they're veterans, a lot of them, and the ones that aren't have lost a lot already.
To jump in one
So they're
second.
used to it.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think if they've been losing this much, they're more likely to mental boom. Like, I think definitely is not in a good place.
I feel like
he looks real sad.
I feel like they should do this game for like the fans. I feel like that sounds like it sounds like a nice game actually.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I didn't think about jumping into it originally, but
How do you get into it?
It's, I mean, you just track, you kind of have to track it yourself.
Oh, that's awful.
There's not like a web portal based thing, but
Can we get a web portal based thing made?
Chloe.
dude, I think this is again, credit where credit's due. I don't know who came up with the idea, but I think it's a really ingenuitive like way to look at it, even if it is just an elo system. We've never had like the pro player elo rank ladder thing, you know. So I
So
think it's really
Travis,
cool.
Here's what you do. Next week in the countdown on the first day, we'll do another segment about this, and we'll have the new prices printed out. And so just give yourself $5,000 and then decide which ones you want to buy or sell.
And I assume when we're coming up on week 3 that like if you lost money in like because you obviously like Mark, you would have lost money on Golden Guardians probably. Like the little counter of the money on the side is gonna like you're gonna have less money to actually invest,
Mhm.
right? So this is
Yep. I'll
Yeah,
be
it's like-
down probably around like 4,000 or something.
you mean two? Okay, I was like down to only 1,000. No, I
Oh no.
realized what you said. I
yeah,
realized
'cause
what you said.
I had some good teams. Hold on. Because I bought
You
TSM.
bought TSM, yeah, that was good, and TL is always a safe bet.
You guys should do
Echo
this
Fox
and
and
then
Rhodes too.
Make it so that fans can do this, and then run a stock ticker at the bottom of the analyst desk.
We talked about getting that. Yeah.
That'd be
What was
so
it?
good.
You could have like EU and have like the fan average or something, or like.
So we
you know
were
how they
talking
have
about
fan
doing.
votes?
We were talking about like you can only invest in EU teams like once you've lost enough money because they're like penny stocks. So they're like, how do you get back into it?
Oh my god! Buy all the G2 stock there is. Just.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I really wanted to say. I think it's really cool. I really like it, and I mean, I wish it was a fan based thing. And if you keep doing it in Summer Split, I would totally like the web portal thing, if that would ever come into existence. You never know with a small indie company like Riot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know what would go into the back end to make this work. So I don't want to. I'll push for it, but I don't think it's.
Yeah, I don't know. You mean you guys throw out the idea?
I have no faith.
Support it.
Connor, thank you so much for calling in. Any final thoughts?
No, I think out of the 3 analysts, I don't know. I'm rooting for you, Mark. That's why I wanted to come in and help you. Maybe at least give thoughts on what I thought. I mean, you probably are more informed, but.
Yeah, we'll have to see what the new prices are too, because.
Yeah, because those haven't been released to like you personally yet?
No, I'll probably find out in the middle of the week when we do our meeting.
Ooh, okay.
All right, have a good one, dude.
Yeah, see ya.
See ya.
Bye.
All right, this is the end of the show. Nobody go anywhere because I'm going to be showing some interviews and stuff on stream afterwards. But Mark, you got anything for us?
Someone in Twitch chat said, please ask PoE about shit posting Darshan on Reddit. What is that about?
I have no idea.
Oh,
This is why you don't read these things.
But I already have a meme prepared, which I might drop later today, just to meme him, his sign gameplay. So.
Well, because you memed Optic, right?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you say last year about Optic? Like they're so boosted or something?
No. It was the heaviest animal to carry. I did like the elephant and like the blue whale, and then it was like it was like the 4 people dead, like the whole team died. So it's like the heads were like photoshopped onto them. So
yeah.
Oh, he said go to RCLG. Somebody says we can go check it out. But Mark, do you have anything for us?
No. I think if people saw, I've been trying to hype up Offline TV's content a little bit. We had some trailers come out for our new stuff. We just put out a video today that had the trailers and all the announcements. And we have a Korean variety show type thing called Detention at Offline High coming out. I'll spoil a little bit. I'm the principal who kind of intros a little bit of stuff. So that should be coming out sometime this week. So keep an eye out. And it's very different from the old stuff. It's more produced and fun, I think.
People are sad there's no TSM take tonight. TSM's not doing anything interesting, I feel like.
They're 2-2. They had some good games, some bad games. They're my thoughts.
Yeah. I wish we were talking about them. 100 Thieves should be happy. PowerofEvil, you want to plug anything, promote anything, do whatever?
Well, thank you for CLG for setting this up so perfectly. The lighting and the camera, isn't it insane?
This might be the best
really good
guest look that we've had.
Yeah, it's definitely got to be top 3. I'd have to look back and see, but this is really good.
So yeah, shout out for CLG.
Gabe did some. Whenever we had all the content creators on, they all did like crazy production stuff. But yeah, it's cool that CLG did this for you.
And yeah, besides that, I hope you guys keep cheering for us. We did, I think, a good 2-0 week, and I'm curious what the next week's bring. Obviously, I'm not gonna be like, yeah, man, we're like the best now since we beat Cloud9. I think we can make playoffs if we keep improving like we did, and I believe I can be a top 3 mid-laner like last split as well.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to it, and thanks so much for doing this. I hit up CLG last night, kind of short notice, because I felt like it'd be fun to have you on after the 2-0 week, and all the doubters became believers. And thanks for doing after a move. I don't know if you know this, Mark, but PowerofEvil moved today.
Oh, he mentioned it. Where did he move from to? Like, well, I know where the office is.
Airbnb to.
Yeah, it's kind of close by. It's like 10-minute Uber drive from here. So now it's like 50-minute Uber drive. So it's still around the corner. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's nice of you to do this after moving. So everyone Everyone watching, please understand how awesome PoE is for coming on it.
Thank you very much.
Pretty awesome.
Well, and it was a sick guest. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was really interesting for me as well
Nice.
to like even get your thoughts and stuff like this.
You just I think everybody always comes on. They're like, oh, I got to do this show, and then somebody comes on and says, I think this team is the worst team in LCS history, and all of its players don't even deserve to have League of Legends installed on their computer. And you're just like, whoa, what is it? Anyway, thanks so much, PowerofEvil. If you're watching this, there's a podcast version of it that gets released, and now we got a lot of people listening to the podcast, so that's kind of cool. It's on Spotify and iTunes and all these other places. Mark and I, there's other podcasts out there that have discontinued this year. There's others where the hosts have literally abandoned their careers and jobs to go work elsewhere. Mark and I are still here, all right, and we're gonna be here next week and the week after. And the week after. And someday Mark will send me an invoice for all these months that I haven't paid him. He still owes me an invoice. And then I will no longer be able to afford rent. And then we won't do the show anymore. But until that day, we're going to be here. So thanks everyone for watching. This has been Hotline League, episode 62.